I first met when he was working at Groupon. Take it as you will. Ladies and gentlemen, please on stage, Drew Hann! Hey, how's everybody doing? Yay! It's brighter down there than it is. Yeah. So Christmas, yes, nice job.
Yeah.
Can't see anymore. Christmas. So Christmas for me, I grew up in rural Maryland, in the woods. And so Christmas Eve was always a very big deal. Back when my family was all devout Catholics, we're now a bunch of heathens. So we would go to Mass in the afternoon, and then we would come home, and then we would go spend Christmas Eve at my grandparents' house, which happened to be our next door forest neighbors. So the sun would be setting, and my entire family, my mom, my dad, my older brother, my younger sister, we would walk down the woods, down our little lane, and go to our grandparents' house. And it was scary as a kid. It was terrifying. But I really liked root beer and cocktail weenies, and that was what was waiting for me Christmas Eve. So I figured, okay, forest monsters, whatever. So it was always a stressful event for us kids. We'd go, we'd enter. It was my dad's side of the family. He's a lot older, very old side of the family. And so we'd walk in. There'd be the kitchen where the gourmet deli tray was out. The cocktail weenies, lots of ham, lots and lots of ham. And then the sitting room, and then there'd be the present chamber. There'd be this archway, and then behind that would be the Christmas tree, and that's where they kept all of our presents. And we were the only kids in the family, so everyone in that room bought presents for us. So we knew that was where it was. But it was really stressful because we didn't want to drink any of the soda because we didn't want to stay up. We didn't want to eat because as soon as everyone was done eating, then the presents could start. So we decided, let's just not eat, and we'll get presents right away. But the grown-ups had to eat, and they didn't care about starving kids, and so we would just sit there and just pout the whole night, and that wouldn't help at all. So we started to age and kind of strategize, and ideas like evil and greed started to come into our conscious. And we started to figure out what we could do to try and make this the shortest meal possible for these grown-ups so we can get these presents that we wanted so bad. I'm happy to say that most of our ideas were charm offensives. We would do dough eyes, we would do chores, we'd like to clean up plates but they still had food on them. 2 birds, 1 stone, people could eat, and we were done. And so that was great. And then one of the things that I, looking back, didn't really appreciate back then, but definitely know was an important thing back now as a grown-up, kind of, is that Christmas Eve was also my grandparents' anniversary. Every single year, would you believe it? And over the archway of the present chamber was a computer printed out banner that was taped together, and it would always say "Happy blank anniversary." And one of the kids would always be charged with putting up the new numbers every single year. And so everybody loved it. They loved seeing the young kids kind of honoring the oldest members of the family. And so that was like our big thing. Like we would do this, and then we would be in, and we get these presents going. It didn't quite work. Everybody still wanted their ham sandwiches and their cocktail weenies. But we figured out one year, and my grandmother, Nellie is her name, my grandmother loved books and she loved stories. And so what we would do is we would stand near her and we would talk about the books we'd been reading currently and what we were excited about, and hope that she would get so excited about the present that she gave us that she would start the present giving early. She'd be so wanting us to get this book and stop reading Harry Potter and all about this like black magic stuff that you're talking about, and get us some, this is where Jesus and the Lord of the Rings converge book. Not our favorite presents, but we knew that the floodgates would open when we get all the rest of the presents. So we would do that, and as time went on and I grew up and I went to school, I found less and less time going down there and meeting with my grandparents. I don't know if you guys know this, but age affects a person's body eventually. Things start to happen. I went through kind of a scary hair in weird places, things happening in my face phase, while my grandmother, who was getting older and older, lost her hearing. And we'd always try to get her hearing aids, and for one reason or another she just wouldn't use them, or they just wouldn't work. And one of the unfortunate side effects was she would repeat herself kind of over and over and over again whenever we'd go and visit her. Not because she was losing her capacity at all. She just said something, didn't hear a response, and assumed you didn't hear her and would say it again. So for the longest time, she thought I was majoring in history when I was actually majoring in theater, which is a huge letdown for her. I moved from Maryland to Chicago, and so I told the whole family, and that was doable for them. They understood that, they liked that. It was still like a car's drive away, still a city they were familiar with. And then I moved from Chicago to here, Los Angeles, and that was a little bit harder of a sell. And I remember going back and talking to my grandparents, talking to my grandmother in particular, and saying, I think I'm moving to LA. And she said, you know, I don't think I've met anyone I've liked from California. And I said, Grandma, you know me now. And she looked at me and she said, no, I don't think I've met anyone I've liked from California. Clearly not hearing what I had said. But suffice it to say, it became more and more difficult for me to find time in my schedule anytime I was back home to see them, even though they were literally a 3-minute walk from my house. Last June, I went home for the most recent time, and through the magic of Facebook and my father having Facebook and passing it on to the older people in his family, she saw a picture of the girl I was dating at the time. And so the first thing she said to me was, "You're dating an Asian girl, aren't you?" And I said, well, she's half Japanese, half Texan, so that's got to count for something. And she's an actress too. She's just like me. She's wonderful. She's great. And she said, well, as long as she's not an actress. So, you know, endless comedic potential within this, but still kind of desperately heartbreaking. So that was in June. About 3 weeks ago, I woke up to a phone call letting me know that she had passed away. She passed away in her sleep in the room just next to the present chamber, where she had kind of turned her library into her own room. And it's difficult, kind of being so far away from someone that you were so close to, but not as close as you think you should have been, despite the proximity of it all. And I get down on myself, and I start thinking about, you know, this woman was born September 29th, 1919. How much life has been with this woman, and how much I missed learning from her, having her teach me, sharing with me. But I stop, and I try not to think about that too much, because I think, you know, whatever you may believe, I'm not a hugely religious person, but I believe I'll see her again someday, however that may be. And I'll turn the corner in heaven, or if they've got corners in heaven, and I imagine she's going to look at me and she's going to say, Drew, it's so good to see you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm going to say, why? Why are you proud of me? I treated visiting you like a chore, and I missed out on someone that could have been one of the most important people in my life. And she'll say, Drew, didn't you hear me? I said, I'm proud of you. Her name was Nellie Mae Hann. She was born September 29th, 1919. She died October 10th, 2013. She loved stories. She loved Fig Newtons. She loved her family. And she loved to travel. And I feel like being able to share a story about her thousands of miles away from where she grew up and lived, I think is fitting. And the same morning that I got the phone call letting me know, I got the email about this little thing right here. So it felt right. And thank you guys for letting me share. Yeah.